Okay, we are live, and this is a really bad idea this morning. I am all over the fucking place. I have no idea what's happening. Do you have any idea what's happening? Immutable. Nathan Arts is going to join us in a minute here, unmuted.
All I know is life is happening.
Life is happening?
Oh, that's what's happening.
Life will find a way. Defining life in the universe from three privileged functions to four pillars defining life in the universe. Why do they spell it with a Y?
You'll see.
Oh, okay. Different kind of life, eh?
No. It's a more general description of life.
Yeah.
In terms of like qualities it has or should have.
Yeah, which is kind of where I want to go with this. This junk DNA business is basically them controlling the dialogue. Because as near as I can tell, junk DNA was not anything that's talked about. In my Lewin's Genes 5, they don't mention junk DNA at all. Yet
because it's an antiquated term.
Well, no. In Lewin's Genes 12, they do. It's not an antiquated term. It's a fucking new term. It was dropped a while ago by Ono, but it wasn't picked up again until the creationists picked it up. So they're controlling the fucking dialogue on this. They're trying to jam this word down our throats. That we talked about junk DNA. I've looked at textbook after textbook, and if I look at the old ones, no junk DNA. If I look at the newer ones, they have a paragraph on it where they'll mention it, and some of them come right out and mention, I think one at least, that creationists are talking about the ENCODE project. And so it's their fucking dialogue. And then we get it and we want to defend it because there is a part of the idea of DNA that is not conserved that we are willing to defend. So what they do is they light us up with these fucking loaded questions and loaded words. And Nathan did a little debate last night, and the guy was doing roughly the same thing on another topic. He was just loading them up with controlling the dialogue, throwing out this bullshit.
To be fair, I mean, in the 1960s and 1970s, I believe it was, we knew already how proteins were synthesized in the entirety. We pretty much understood the central dogma.
Yeah, we were shocked.
But I guess to some fairness, you could say it's a little short-sighted of us to think that, or it was short-sighted to think that the only functions that RNA transcripts could have would be to code for proteins, which essentially.
Well, who the fuck really thought that? The surprise.
Well, that's what the central dogma was stating, essentially.
No, the surprise was that there was, one gene, one function. But the surprise was that there was so damn much DNA that didn't code for proteins. Then we were like, oh my God, why is there so much? That was the question.
The surprise was that DNA encodes for RNA, and that RNA is something that has more function than DNA, actually.
Yeah.
It has tremendous function in terms of its regulation and other things it does.
Yeah, and we had yet to figure out, all of the different kinds of regulation and all that back in the 1960s because we didn't really, we were just starting to map proteins and figure some things out. But I mean, there was never a point where evolution required junk DNA. And now it's kind of the same thing with Sal Cordova going after the definition of fitness, which is really interesting. Where the fuck is my book? There's in this book, Origins of Order, he talks about the models that we have for fitness, right? And fitness. And one of the things that they used to do is consider fitness of a gene. And that was basically the N model. So there was no interaction between genes. Well, then they came up with the epistatic interactions, and they came up with the NK model. And Franklin and Lewontin in 1970 decided that the way we were going to do that, the way we were going to figure out one gene affected another gene, is by multiplying their statistics, basically, or their fitness. You multiply it. So if you have something that's 0.01 fitness and you have something that's 1.0 fitness, you're going to end up with 0.01. Right? So, but That turns out to be extremely unrealistic. So then they came up with the NK model. And the NK model uses a different kind of statistics. So, I mean, Sal Cordova is attacking a straw man. I mean, it is well known that all of the Fisher-Wright theorem, or Wright-Fisher theorem is actually what it was called, I think, is not anything other than an extremely idealized form of modeling genetics. And we knew that. And so he cites all the places like Lewontin and all the others that are saying, no, we need to make this model more complicated. And now today we have the extended synthesis, which fully admits that without a supercomputer the size of the fucking solar system, we're not going to be able to model it accurately. So,
and that's the thing, right? For trying to program something, I mean, like one of our interests is trying to program a very simple RNA replication system and try to determine like the structures that those RNA strands form.
Right.
But imagine if you were to consider other nitrogenous bases, or, you know, having more than just 4 bases in that consist of an initial genetic code, right? And all the other crap that you have to think about. I can imagine it'd be quite taxing not just trying to program that, but also trying to, have enough memory and processing power to, make it function at a realistic rate.
Yeah. But anyway, this so the example again is, okay, Sal Cordova comes and attacks Wright Fisher, who are basically gods because they started the whole PopGen thing, and he attacks the idea of fitness. And then all of a sudden we're defending a straw man, basically. And because we know that something about fitness is very important in these models, and we know that Wright Fisher did some very important mathematics. So again, they're controlling the fucking dialogue, just like they are with junk DNA. You can see the same exact parallel. They control the dialogue. Mm-hmm. And it's just over and over and over again. And then last night when you were talking to that guy, I listened to 60 minutes of it so far.
Yeah.
And let's see. So he says to you, let me share this. I'm going to share this, Nathan.
Okay.
I'm not sure where the hell I'm at here. But he starts with the controller dialogue shit very early on. When he asks you, explain our existence without a God. They're doing the same fucking shit. I mean, it's just amazing. It's really, and we fall for it every fucking time because they always pick something that we want to defend, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that is the problem. So this was a kind of a surprise to me, this particular apologetic.
Fucking urban style of apologetics.
Yeah, basically he was attacking whitey science, and then he was saying that, oh no, you're using white man rationalization, and then he says, but that's not rational.
I know.
Fuck. It was right here. But this guy just, he just comes in hot. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm just going to play a short. Let's see, where are we at?
So, for instance, I don't know my science approach. I'm not.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's going too fast.
So, how would you like science approach? Don't give me my version.
So you're saying that it sounds good. That's why you're going with it.
No, it makes sense.
I don't know where he said it, but anyway, he said explain our existence without God. So that was the beginning. But then I heard him channel Maddox here. Let's see if I caught it.
There was a thinking when they had sex. What are you talking about, bro? In any other situation.
Okay, in any other situation, Maddox says in any other context. He's saying the same thing. I think he was. I don't know if they were coming at, and then you brought up the nipple thing, and I couldn't believe the shit he came up with on that.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, this is a riot. I linked it in the description, and it was a real surprise to me that this kind of shit is even this particular apologetic I had not heard yet. Probably because I'm whitey.
Yeah. This is the dialogue that goes around in our urban communities.
Oh shit! You know, the whole Christianity thing was fucking rammed down everybody's throat in, black and white, and nobody's questioning that. I mean, Jesus.
But it gets so bad because this guy isn't a Christian. He's a Israelite. And it's many people
Oh,
that
you're
claim
talking
to
about.
yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Black Hebrew Israelites. Oh my God.
Oh,
Yes. So it's a few Christians. It's a lot of Hebrew Israelites. It's a Jew that's a black guy as well too. And I just
okay.
think
I never. Okay, maybe it's because I'm white. I never understood that at all.
it's not because you're white. I look at it as black Americans. They have this identity issue because they were treated like second class for so long that they need to find something and believe in it. And it can't be this idea of the white man's thinking. That's their idea of it. The
It
white
can't
man,
be the Christian idea because that's the
exactly,
white man's idea.
exactly. So they have to go with something totally different.
Oh, okay. So now I get it.
Yeah.
I have that background. So, because I was wondering why you didn't push back against the, fucking white man Bible. Anyway, but this is pretty interesting. He goes about what they go about 50, 60 minutes, and then they open it up with a bunch of other people. What happened then?
Oh my goodness, man. They asked me so much crazy questions. Oh, one guy said that, can you explain energy? If you can't explain energy, it's God. Yeah.
What do you mean explain energy? What is there to explain? Energy exists and there's different forms of it. Like,
I know, right? I was like,
what do you mean explain energy?
can you explain? Because we're a part of energy. So energy is God. And I was like, what?
We're a part of it. What?
Yeah.
We have energy. I mean, like that's such a weird way to like try and begin a conversation. It's like unusual.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Just like explain where we came from, go, can you explain where we came from? It's like, no.
I can. My mommy and my daddy had sex. And maybe it was an accident. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, the local answer is all we fucking need to, live a life. I mean, you don't really need to know the whole fucking detail of which
When a
star.
mommy and a daddy love each other very, very much.
Well, there was a mommy star and a daddy star, and they fucking blew up and formed a baby star.
And they did the same thing where they asked like these questions about the universe and how everything coincides with one another, and it's so perfect. Like you can't resist to think that there wasn't a designer that made everything. I was like, no.
When you bring that up, you should ask them if they think that storks deliver babies.
I should have.
Because there is actually, it's a false correlation, but there is actually a correlation between storks, like the number of storks that like live in a certain province and the number of births, like the birth rate of a certain populace.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out to be, it's a false correlation. They have nothing to do with each other. But it's coincidental, like that they actually do share a positive, like false corollary relationship.
Mad world.
But nobody in their right mind would say that storks deliver fucking babies.
They don't.
First thing I want to say.
Where do they come from?
They come from your mama.
Your mama and your daddy.
My mama.
It was this one lady. It was this one lady that joined in on the questions, and she asked me, like, how far you want to go back? You know you were created. I said, no, my mom and my dad created me. And she's like, well, who created them? Who created them? You're going to have to go back into the first human being. And I said that the difference between me and you is that I think that the first human being had two parents. And they was like, you think? And I was like, yeah, see, that dismissed everything because you can't think. You can't use your mind. You have to give evidence. You're just using your imagination now. You're thinking. I was like, oh my God.
and they're not using their imagination to.
I was like, okay.
Think, my brother. Open your third eye.
Yeah. That's an interesting difference. They believe that Adam and Eve did not have two parents.
Yeah.
Well, remember, abiogenesis isn't a possible explanation, but a golem spell is.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yep. So, that's just an example of them controlling the dialogue again, because as soon as they say, well, how do you think everything began? We put on our little scientific cap and we start, projecting backwards, and then they start picking on everything. Mm-hmm. And the best thing is tell you, fucking stork brought me. I'm sorry. I don't really give a shit. I mean, that's a hypothesis. It's as good as yours. The stork bring Adam and Eve, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, it's not completely out of the question.
Okay, we didn't get to the part in the video on with Dr. Charles, whatever the fuck his name, Jackson, where he said, okay, you know what their new idea is?
I can't imagine.
God created Adam, and Adam had a particular genome. Yeah. And then he created Eve, and Eve had a particular genome. So we have 4 alleles, right? We have, possibility of 4 different ones for every gene. Wow. But Eve had like 40,000 eggs in her. And God went down there and he stuck different DNA in every one of those eggs.
Wow.
What?
How long it took? Yeah, that's a new thing.
That is, okay, that's exceptionally.
Every fucking one of them has different DNA. And it's like God basically fucked Eve 40,000 times.
So that kind of answer is makes the question of who's your daddy way more complicated.
Right. I mean, and maybe they don't want to hear that God fucked Eve 40,000 times. But I like to be honest. If you put DNA in a girl, you're fucking her.
Well, you put DNA in your girl, either you're fucking her or you're going to get fucked.
But they think, okay, God did it with a lab coat on and he had a pipette and he didn't really use his dick. But it's the same result. I'm sorry. I just call it like I see them. Nobody has a comment.
Would that not be like an issue like with immunology? I mean, usually the body doesn't like foreign DNA. It kind of likes to know.
Yeah.
That cells are kind of like the same.
That is a fact. That may actually have been a real fucking problem for Eve. So maybe she was broke out all the time. Maybe that's where acne came from. That was the beginning of acne. All these fucking eggs were rebelling. It's oh my God. But yeah, this is the new deal. And that actually, when you think about the genetics of that may work. I'd have to model that, but holy shit.
No, it would not. And the reason for that is so a woman, in their, in terms of ovarian count, usually the count is in the millions, if not hundreds of millions of eggs.
Well, you know what they did there? Okay, they have one Adam and they have one Eve. So now they say, oh no, but not really one Eve, 40,000 Eves. So all of a sudden they keep matching their fucking story to evolution because they know goddamn well they're fucked on this created heterozygosity thing. So this is what they came up with. But yep, this is
and this explanation is just as bad because when women go through periods, they get rid of a lot of the eggs that they have. It's by no means a large fraction of all the eggs, but it's significant. Mm-hmm. And 40,000 isn't that much, considering a healthy woman.
Oh, well, then he went on to explain that Eve, she was having kids all the way till she was 600 years old. So she could God knows, she must have had 10,000 of those eggs. She has.
But here's the issue with that. The Bible doesn't describe that. The Bible describes exactly 2 offspring of Adam and Eve.
But
it describes Cain and Abel.
Well, they're claiming that now. I've heard claims that Eve had 32 children or something like that.
Well, show me in the Bible where it says that.
I can't. I don't read the Bible, sir. Who the fuck did I send that email to? And I won't.
Because the 2 people I remember, who were the children of Adam and Eve, were Cain and Abel.
Yep.
And if there's no other female around, well, that doesn't exactly fare well for the genetic fate of that lineage.
I asked one of my grandma or something that when I was a little kid, and she said, "Oh no, they just don't talk about all the other kids that had a baby. There are all kinds of offspring didn't make it. It didn't make the cut, you know." So
Well, Icarus, let's put it this way: there's only one woman on the planet so far, and there's 3 men.
yeah,
You would say that when Cain killed Abel, I think Cain went out into the wilderness or something like that, and he met his wife and he made a city. So some apologists might say that, oh, it was people already there because of the fall. That's what they used.
So the apologetic I'm familiar with says that I forget who killed who, but whichever one was guilty fled.
Yep.
And after that point, like the Nephilim began, like there were also Nephilim that populated the earth.
Yes.
And that humans breeded with the Nephilim and created kind of like these degenerate hybrids between them.
okay. I think Icarus has a point here, but it just occurred to me we're fucked on this male nipple thing. Cain and Abel. That's why males have nipples, because they had to nurse their young.
Well, morphodites, they had.
I don't know. So there was Seth also. So where the hell did Seth come from? What the fuck?
Apparently, it also came from Adam and Eve.
And they had Adam and Eve had brothers and sisters too, or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah, well, what's up with doing your sister? What the fuck? We don't want to talk about that. But no, so they keep coming up with new ideas in this matrix theory, they call it, of Eve, the matrix theory, I think.
That does not work.
Oh my God! But
I'm sorry, but that just does not, like, that causes more issues than it solves.
It's happening. Yeah, no. Anyway.
Hey, Walker, just a random question. If I were to tell you I had 40,000 different DNA strands within my body, you might think like that I'm about to be dead, right? Because the immune system is kind of a thing, and like cells don't really like it when other cells don't have very similar, if not identical, DNA to their own.
Oh my God! There's some movie where like some chick ended up like with these bubbles or pustules forming all over her body and little things hatched out of it. Like
You're referring to aliens?
Oh, maybe that was it. I don't know. No. Worse than that. It was like like these bubbles started forming and they burst and little fucking creatures came out of every little pustule. That sort of thing. That's probably what Eve did. He was fucking, and that's where acne came from. That's my fucking theory, and I'm sticking to it. And male nipples, all explained by this. They were all males, and that's where the gay gene came from. Because
exactly,
they had to be attracted to each other, or they never would have reproduced. So we've explained gay gene, male nipples. I mean, we can explain all of this shit with a biblical story. We should write for them.
I think you do a better job because we could poke better holes into the argument.
Right.
And we can propose explanations that actually make sense.
We can channel Douglas Adams.
There we go.
That would be awesome. That would be an awesome fucking Bible. Just crazier. Anyway, so what else, guys? What else should we cover before we get off this thing?
The paper?
Which paper? Paper. You got a paper? That Lyfe thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have the paper. I'm just looking at the abstract, I think.
Go to download PDF.
I can't. Oh, there it is. Download. Oh, that was fairly easy to do. Let me see what I can do. Maybe I can share it. Oh, I got a cat, so my mouse, my mouse range is limited because my cat is here. Wookie, what the fuck? Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we can review this tomorrow since we just now found it. But it's a very good paper. It goes through, it summarizes very briefly the major hypotheses of origin of life, how they all are fundamentally incomplete, and how the various assumptions, like in foundations of origin of life research, generate like 3 different models that you really can't distinguish between, at least currently, given like the limitations of like biotechnology and stuff like that. And it takes some of this research and provides a definition for what they call Lyfe, L-Y-F-E.
Lyfe. Life is defined as any system that fulfills all 4 processes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we can jump to the part where it lists those 4 pillars if you just want to like see what they are and then read the paper later and we can talk about it. And
yeah. Well, I'll link it in the description and we'll get into it at some point. So many directions. I would recommend this paper to people that aren't exactly like overly invested with the field, but kind of not even an overview necessarily, but kind of a like starter for origin of life. Yeah. Because
this is actually, it's a really under exaggerated point, but it needs to be like stressed that if we're going to try and figure out what life is and if other life exists on other planets somewhere, we need a proper definition for what life actually is, right? As a process and as a descriptor of organisms.
I just linked the paper again in chat and I put it in the description of this video.
Yep. The paper is free. You can download it from MDPI. So
yeah, and I put your should I call it a debate last night, Nathan, in the description of this video.
All right, that's cool.
And I need to put Not Yet by the Veils, the music that everybody should listen to today. Anyway, this guy, the Veils, it starts out kind of slow, but in the middle, this guy cranks up to a level of performance that you don't see very often, and it's fucking amazing. It's just absolutely excellent. Gotta listen to it. And of course, your featured band was what was it? Immutable?
3 Days Grace. So band of like late 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. So I'll link. I'm going to link the Veils and that in my description because everybody should have a soundtrack when they're fucking listening to us talk about Adam and Eve's pipples and nipples. We're explaining shit here, man. We're explaining shit. I like the Veils. Awesome. And your Nickelback band.
Yep.
Yep.
So it is relevant to note that if you go to the MDPI page itself, so for people wondering whether or not this article is like actually relevant, if you go to the section where it lists article metrics, I believe it's called, it shows you like how many views it's had, both on full text and abstract views. And for the abstract views, it's had it's reaching about just shy of 7,000.
Okay.
Keep in mind this paper came out mid-April, I think, or early April.
4K on full text views.
Yep, and approximately 4K on text views.
Who the hell wrote this? Who's it about? Bartlett and Long.
So the people who wrote this are 2 authors, Stuart Bartlett and Michael Long.
Okay.
Or Michelle Long. Michael Long.
Cool. Okay. I think we're supposed to meet with Demeter in about 10 minutes.
All right. I do actually want to bring this paper to Demeter's attention. Actually, see what he thinks about.
Actually, he's in the chat.
Oh, okay.
And he just said he would look at it. So, and I keep spelling Demeter's name wrong.
So Demeter's going to be an hour late.
Oh, he is? Are you going to be an hour late? Did he text us? Oh, for an hour and I'll be back. Do something for an hour. Okay. Loki? Loki. Okay, Loki. I really love you, but get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so Demeter said he will look at this paper and give us a comment on it. But right now he has to do something for an hour and he'll be back.
Okay. Well, good. I can take a little. I can blink my mind out here. Anyway, so Nathan, what the fuck?
Yep.
There was some art I wanted to commission. Oh, SpongeBob standing in poop.
Oh God!
Except I don't want it too fucking graphic. I mean, we don't want it to be like too gross, but
Okay.
kind of like a combination of SpongeBob and the poop emoji at his feet, because I love to call Stanley, my son, I love to call him standing in poop, as we know. And, it kind of runs against my grain not to say standing in shit, but standing in poop just rolls off the tongue a little easier for some reason. I don't know why.
We can do that.
Yeah. Anyway, he listed in last night's chat, he said he listed a bunch of arguments that we got to address, and Matrix Eve was one of them. And I spotted the chat, but I can't fucking find it now, so I got to dig that up. And I don't know if we should get back to that Jackson video. The problem with what we did with the video, what did we make it through 20 minutes of it? Maybe we need to condense these if we attack a particular video, maybe we need to take the time to bookmark some spots and write the arguments in advance and just go after small pieces of it instead of trying to roll the whole thing, because you end up with 2 hours online and we haven't gotten anywhere. And I think it's boring for the audience to, go through it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it depends. I like to listen to it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess as long as we can play around in between and stuff, it might be interesting, but I don't know. We'll look at this paper. Okay, Walker put up sponge and a poop emoji. There you go. That's what you got to work with, Nate.
Emoji?
Nobody wants to find this. Nobody wants to dig out the sponge lying in the septic tank.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I'll do one for tomorrow. We can use this for tomorrow.
Oh God, my son cleaned his bathroom yesterday. Oh my God, he had a mask on and he wanted a full hazmat suit.
Jeez, I know you never discipline your sons, but God, that's disgusting.
Well, just us two live in this big fucking house, and we don't clean a whole lot. So once a year, I have my sister come, and it's like, Char, when are you coming down to vacuum? Because we haven't vacuumed since last August. And I told you about the leaf blower, right? I was walking through the house with the leaf blower, and I noticed that it blew shit off the carpet. So I decided I opened it up and I blew all the stuff from one side of my room to the other side of my room, and it was all lined up against the fireplace, and I just vacuumed up that one strip. So like, if you want, like, a man's solution for vacuuming is get your leaf blower, bring it in the house. It cleans the carpet like nothing you'll ever find. I mean, it's fucking excellent. Anyway, but
yeah, I got to try that.
Yeah. The other man solution that we came up with was decorating the Christmas tree. We take it out in about March, April, May, maybe. One time we had it up till October and we burned it at a party, but because we don't take the Christmas tree down because we're kind of sentimental about Christmas. So anyway, a lot of needles fall on the floor, and when the needles fall on the floor, you sweep them all into a corner, and then you can decorate that fucking pile of needles. Christmas lights, and you can put presents there, and you can have ribbons. And we put the little angel on top of it, and we just left it there until August when my sister came, and she said, "What the fuck?" Oh. Yeah, we don't clean a lot in this house. We should do better. Anyway, okay. So what do you say we end and get on with our lives?
I guess so. If we have to.
Any closing thought?
No, I'm kind of interested to see what Demeter has to think on this paper, though, because it's actually quite interesting.
Okay, you got to watch Nathan's thing last night. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny, man.
It is funny. Okay, gonna end broadcast. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. And always remember, Stan and Amelia Clark.
Yes.